Okay, the furry Trans on your screen is in fact Lance Twiggs, Tyler Robinson, the shazooter of Charlie Kirk's roommate. O.M. Jizzleberry. Now, Mr. Twiggs or Mrs. Twiggs has been questioned and released and is not considered a suspect at this time because them have been very helpful to the police. In fact, to the tune of turning over text messages and Discord server messages. Apparently all the action in the world is on Discord these days. I guess an immediate aftermath of what Tyler Robinson did, he sent text messages to his roommate Lance Twiggs about maybe trying to retrieve he did the deed from 200 yards away, stashed a rifle, and maybe was asking Twiggs to go get it, or he made some reference to it. Obviously, the FBI is not going to release that much information. So, is this a transpiracy? Okay, so they live in a town, or they lived in a city. Well, Tyler Robinson is going to be living in a penitentiary, but Lance Twiggs, when Tyler Robinson was his roommate, they lived in St. George, Utah. Now, St. George, Utah, not saying this has anything to do with it, but it's very interesting. When I moved to LA the very first time, and I drove my car from Detroit, and we took the northern route, we went through Utah. Utah is such a strange, empty landscape. I was driving with my buddy Blake. We got creeped out. It was like being on an alien planet. And so there's Salt Lake City, but in the whole kind of middle empty part of the state, there's one city, St. George. St. George, Utah for a long time was home to a lot of people with, very some rare cancers were, 50 or 100 times more likely to occur because that was the emptiest part of the contiguous the lower 48 states, and they would do nuclear testing there. The last of the above-ground nuclear testing, St. George was the only population center nearby, and it did cause a lot of problems with the people. Just historical factoid. But so Lance Twiggs and Tyler Robinson were living in a house there in St. George. They paid $900 a month for 2 of the 3 bedrooms. They had a third, so neighbors were obviously asked about them. They had a third roommate, a male, who moved out about a year ago. Since that time, neighbors described them as blasting music and sticking to themselves. An 11-year-old boy, Oliver Holt, I think his name was, he said he knocked on the door, maybe trying to sell newspapers or get an odd job, or what young guys are trying to make money in the neighborhood, shovel snow, deliver newspapers, whatever. And he said that Tyler Robinson was acting strange, that he had the door open and he kind of didn't want him to see inside. Maybe just he didn't want to see any man-on-man activity. I don't know. So, but people had been saying they had been acting strange. They had become loners since the third roommate moved out. This Lance Twiggs, is he transitioning? Not quite clear. His family, I don't know how much they talk to him. He may just be, he definitely looks like he's a furry. If you don't know what furries are, that's a big thing. It's people that dress up in these animal costumes. Some of them just do it a little bit around the house. Some incorporate their sex life into it. Some live some weird, wild stuff with it. Again, to me, all these people thinking they're different genders, wanting to play cat, pretend they're a cat or something, is symptomatic of the sickness of our society. Not even necessarily them personally, that people are so alienated from this world of where we're just supposed to work all day and buy stuff and worship the Super Bowl and whatever it is you're supposed to. I don't even know what you're supposed to do these days. You can't take no women on a date. I mean, unless you're upper income, I can take a chick on a date, but a 25-year-old, you can't even go on a date. like everything's too expensive. I don't know what young people do. I feel bad. But anyway, so he's living with someone that at least sometimes presents as a woman. Does it make you? I mean, that Trans word is kind of broad. Quite interesting. That person immediately cooperated. As of now, they're not a person of interest or being held. Could that change? Sure, it could change. I find it, I mean, I don't want to put a case on a person, I don't know, but I would find it surprising that, especially it's just two roommates, the neighbors are saying you've been being reclusive and weird. They both were like big gamers. They were on this Discord server with each other and some other friends, so it's not like they were living in total isolation. Tyler Robinson, I did a story yesterday about him being possibly involved with the Groyper movement, which is Nick Fuentes, which is even more right-wing. And you might think of this as contradictory, but remember, crazy people, which is people who shoot down people in public. You know, this is not, whatever you think about Charlie Kirk, and the more I learn about Charlie Kirk, I don't like him, think he was a dangerous demagogue. Gunning him down at a university is not right, obviously. It's not the way to go, it's illegal. As another side note, a Secret Service agent was let go for making basically post of saying, hey, he got what he deserved. There's been several major people on like MSNBC and other things that have been let go for saying similar things. A lot of the black and definitely the GAY influencer space, not a lot of grief, some happiness. Charlie Kirk was an extremely effective organizer, and while in the short term he may be somewhat of a martyr, you still would replace him with an equally effective organizer. I mean, there is a reason that people deploy violence against their enemies. Right? You take out effective operators on the other side, it has an impact. But, so, quite a development that he had a trans, or even just someone who dressed up like a woman sometime and was a furry. That's pretty weird. This person, when interviewed by the FBI, immediately turned over text messages. From the way the sentence was structured, I really couldn't tell if they were old, but I think they were new text messages that happened that day. Maybe trying to get him to help him. He said, I stashed a rifle. They may have had crazy conversations together. That doesn't mean... Lots of people, we all have crazy conversations with different people about different stuff you may not expect. Maybe you're just getting stuff off your chest, or you're having a fantasy, and this person goes out and does it, and now the FBI is at your door. Pretty scary. I don't entertain weird conversations or drug people talking to them. Oh, how much bricks going for in Detroit? I don't entertain anything I might not actually do. I don't discuss. Because you just don't, I don't want to, easy enough to get yourself in trouble. I'm not letting you get me in trouble. And did I yap my mouth? But to stay focused here, is this going to exacerbate? There has been an idea of there's a lot of trans doing mass shootings. There was, and they do kind of cover it. I mean, they don't cover it up, but it's not broadcast. Is that because it's not important? Maybe. Is it because of pressure? I don't know. I will say, for those of you that think they cover up that there's been some trans shooters, if you remember, starting at some point, like when they're doing a lot of those awful school shootings, all the news agencies, at the kind of the behest of the FBI, though they didn't have to do it, they don't say the shooter's name a lot, or they weren't until now with social media. You can't hide it, Luigi Mangione and all this stuff, because that's what they're looking for, is attention. So you don't give them attention, you don't talk about their personal life. I don't think it's possible to keep information secret now in the age of social media and everyone having a phone and etc. Quite a turn of events that what appears to be one of the couple, I don't know, one of the two biggest driving forces, at least in the public political debate, is trans. I would have thought that 10 or 20 years ago. An estimated less than 2% of the population falls into that category, but it's still 1 out of 50 people. I mean, it's not a lot, but it is. And if you're in certain areas, I live in downtown LA, I mean, you see a lot. They don't bother me. They do seem, I will say this, anytime find myself in the supermarket and it's a man, a stocky white man with a beard and a dress and earrings and high heel, it seems quite, I just don't know what the point is. Is it you want attention? Is it a mental illness? The idea that I would wake up one morning and feel like I should be a woman sounds like a horror. I mean, I feel bad for them. Like, I wouldn't want to experience gender dysphoria if they really do. I think that, I don't know, man. If you're weird, if you're not wanting to be mainstream, it's very easy to go online and get into all these different little communities. And for most of the people, it's probably healthy, makes them feel good. But, Tyler Robinson appeared very clean cut, regular. And he gets this roommate that's furry and maybe trans. And if you didn't know, just a day or two before that happened, in Minnesota, there was a trans who did the shazooting of those children at the Minnesota school, the Annunciation High School, where he specifically said, I want to be the scary monster that the children see. He timed it so that he wouldn't get any parents. He only wanted children. He said that his outfit made him look sexy, but conservative. I don't know. This is Robert, a.k.a. Robin Westerman, who did his thing in Minnesota, killed 2 kids and then himself a day or two before the Charlie Kirk thing. And remember, when Charlie Kirk caught that in his neck, he had just been asked how many mass shooters are trans. As the FBI, this is a question I have for, here's my little detective question. If Tyler Robinson, the shazooter, was 200 feet away, which you do not, for all your conspiracy theory, and I think a lot of people that practice with the rifle can shoot somebody from that distance. It's not a difficult shot. So it does not require him to be an assassin from Israel or whatever it is some of you are saying. Would he have been able to hear that question asked? Because it's a hell of a coincidence that he let loose at the moment that question was asked. Who is it that asked him that question? Has that person been questioned? Was he in league with the guy? Not saying he is. Or could he hear from that distance? I don't know the answer to that. Maybe some of you do. Lance Twiggs, Tyler Robinson, they were living together. Neighbors said that they would blast music. They were reclusive and weird. The other roommate left over a year ago, and it had just been the two of them getting weirder and weirder. Will we see Lance Twiggs charged with something? That wouldn't surprise me. He was very helpful so far, but is Cash Patel's FBI so incompetent that they're not putting the squeeze on him like, hey, did you know about? How could you not have known about this coming? Remains to be seen, but that's the latest update. Charlie Kirk.